single sign-on, you've got your GatorLeads account here that you can then click on the yellow button that will then take you into your account as such, where you can then view kind of my leads or whatever your last session was inside of the GatorLeads tool. It will take you back there. So what I'm going to do to make the training session a bit more beneficial to you guys is I'm just going to log into your account. So inside of the GatorLeads tab, what you've got at the top, and we'll start kind of going through it
Will you send this in presentation to us afterwards?
Yeah,
or not?
absolutely. So yeah, this will all be recorded and again will be sent to you. And if anybody has any questions throughout anything, do let me know and we can stop and try and answer those questions. So at the top of GatorLeads, you've got the option of clicking on Show Live Feed, and what this is just the website. The companies are coming onto your website at this kind of beginning at that time, and you can obviously click on them, which will then take you into that information as well.
Okay. Is there a delay on that, or is that pretty much instant as soon as someone goes on?
I must admit there is a slight delay on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like a 5-minute delay, but there's nothing major.
That's fine.
Below that, you've got date range, and the date range is what you're setting out to view your leads by. So that's what you're looking at on the leads table below here. So we're looking at the visitors that visited your website today. To the right-hand side, you've got currently viewing by date score. So this is the score they've accumulated in this date period. But if you click on the drop-down, you can obviously change that to total score, which is the score they've accumulated since the beginning of time. And again, the date range is changeable by clicking on the drop-down and selecting from this. And you've also got the ability to filter by custom range, so you can select the date range that you're looking for in particular. Below that, you've then got some tabs here where you've got lead, contact, competitor, customer, partner, supplier, qualified out, and so on and so forth. What you might want to do is start to segment, so you know that the Royal Air Force might be a customer of yours, so you might set them as a customer. So that means when you do get your sales team looking at the My Leads tab, they know that the Royal Air Force is not a kind of, is someone they don't want to contact because they're a customer or a competitor of yours as such. Okay. And I'll go for in a second on how you can move them into their relevant segments. Below the different segments, you've got the ability to filter by a particular person that's in charge of this lead. So, for example, if we wanted to look at all leads that were assigned to Adam, then we can click on Adam, and then that will provide us with all the leads that belong to Adam. And what you can do inside of the GatorLeads platform, because what we typically find is that with salespeople, some of them can be quite greedy, and they probably want to take the hotter leads as opposed to the colder leads. So what you can do is you can set different user roles. So your sales team, you can give them a role of sales where they can only view leads that are kind of applicable for them, if that makes sense. So that the administrators would have set for that person.
So currently, probably initially, this is just going to be Will and I.
Yeah, it'll just be us two.
It'll just be you two doing it at the moment.
Here, yeah.
Fantastic. So that's kind of irrelevant for you guys.
So we just leave it open.
Absolutely, you leave it open. And then where you've got rating, you can click on the drop down and you've then got the ability to say, all right, I only want to display hot leads on this tab, or warm or mild or cold. And you can select which ones you want to view, but at the moment it's looking at all the ratings. Yeah. You can then click on the drop down, select how many leads you want to view per page, and then you've then got the countries that they're in as well. If you go over to the right-hand side, this information is all exportable by clicking Download to CSV, and you can refresh the grid as well to see. So, say for example, you're looking this all morning, and then you saw on the live feed you had another 10 people. You can click on the refresh button, which will then add them to that for you. You can also filter for new leads as well. So, what a new lead is it's the first time they've been on your website that GatorLeads have obviously identified. So when you first log in, like to GatorLeads, you're going to see an awful lot of new leads, but it doesn't necessarily mean they are new leads. It's just because you've only just applied the tracking code on the website. The way to distinguish between a new lead and an old lead as such, or the previous visitors, is if this is green, then if it's highlighted green, then it means it's their first time. If it's not highlighted green, then it means it isn't their first time. Okay. Over on the right-hand side, you've got the ability to filter for UTM values as well. So you can start to filter for the campaign content, campaign name, and all this information. So these are your communications that you're sending out from Communicator. You can filter the leads that have come through from that particular area. Right. But if I'm honest with you, I would never use, personally, I'd never use this way to filter out. Later on in the training session, I'll show you another way of getting it, which in my mind is just slightly easier.
So what I'm talking about, so effectively, just so we're correct, if we sent out a mail campaign, so I've basically bought a list of HR managers or whatever it might be. We send out the mail campaign. This will be able to actually track if they've clicked that email and then come to the website. Is that right?
Absolutely. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to go that step further, and because they've clicked on your link from a communicator email, you'll be able to identify that individual person as well.
Okay.
All right. Okay. That's really
So
good.
Absolutely. So if you scroll down, looking at my leads tab, obviously at the moment we've just got the standard filter on, so we're looking from today and we're filtering by date score. So the higher date score, the higher there be. So what you can see is that the chili rating on the left-hand side just tells you how hot that company is. That company icon has, no relevance to GatorLeads, no idea why it's in there, if I'm quite honest with you, just probably to make it look a bit prettier. The icon to the right-hand side, which you can see is this person icon, if it's grayed out, there is no cookie contact for that company, which means we can't identify who it was from that company that went to your website. If that's highlighted, that means we have got a cookie contact, or you've cookied a contact onto your website where you can view that individual's activity on that website.
Just quickly, with that contact, that'll give us the name and email address of that individual. Right.
Yes, absolutely. What I'll do after this, after I've done the training session, remind me at the end, I'll log into my GatorLeads account where you can see what you can see on a cookie contact level. Because at the moment, you're obviously not going to be able to see any of that because we haven't started with the email comms.
Yeah. Okay.
So to the right-hand side, you can then click on Create a Watch. What a watch is the next time the Royal Air Force, in this case, visit your website, you will be sent, or whoever has assigned this lead will be sent a notification to say the Royal Air Force has been on your website. That's your trigger point to go back into GatorLeads or to click on the permalink within that email, which takes you to the company information, where you can then give them a call and then or follow up in any particular way that you want to. The button to the right-hand side allows you to search for that company inside of LinkedIn. So, for example, we don't know what the Royal Air Force do, then we can click on LinkedIn, which will take you to that LinkedIn page, providing it's able to find it, and you've got even more company information about them. The flag tells you the IP address where that lead was from, so what country they logged in from. Obviously, as you probably already know, IP address is never going to be 100% accurate because Communicator used to be based in the US, our IP address, but we're actually always been a UK company.
Okay.
But what you'll start to see is that the companies in the UK that did used to use the US IP address, because of the GDPR changes, you'll slowly watch them change back to a UK address. The kind of the emblem here, if you hover over that, it just tells you a bit of information about that company. Oh, it's not going to do it today, is it? There you go. If you hover over it, it just tells you a bit of information about that company, so their head office, their website URL, and all of that kind of cool information there.
Yeah, it's quite useful.
To the right-hand side, again, if you highlight over the name, it tells you all of that as well. If we've got get contacts, what that means is inside of GatorLeads itself, you've got the ability to purchase a contact. What we do with all of our new clients is we give them 20 free credits. So feel free to click on the Get Contacts button, and then if there is a person that you want to tackle, so you said you tackle HR people, but let's pretend that it was Director of Public Programmers or Programs, that'll be it. You'll click on the action button, and then you'll click on Get Email Address, which will then give you that email just to that person. You can either send them an email or do whatever you want with that. Okay. You've also got the ability to pass them into Communicator itself as well. So just going back a stage before we go into that, you've got the last visit date and time, so that means when they were last on your website. The date score.
Sorry, just going back into that get contact, you said pass them into Communicator. What was that? Would that be then an email campaign? Absolutely.
So what you would do is you would add them to a group inside of Communicator. That group would then be attached to a workflow campaign, so you can send them down that. I think the way that Sam describes it is a phishing campaign, so you can then send them down like a nurture track to more relevant content, and then give them a call if they reach the end of it, or however you deem appropriate. And then you've then got the last visit date, so the last time they're on your website, with a date score, so the score they accumulate in that date range. Obviously, if you click on the drop down and was to change that to total score, that would then change the total score.
And how are you scoring these?
That will all be worked out in a second.
Okay.
And then to the right-hand side, if you did want to start introducing your salespeople to it, you can click on Assign Lead, which takes you into this screen here. So if the Royal Air Force were a customer of yours, you can click on Customer, and that would put them into that Customer tab. So you can manually choose where all these people go. So that means that if you were ever to let your sales team loose, then you know whether they should contact them or not. Or if you wanted to, you can qualify them out. a way that some of our salespeople use GatorLeads is they actually use it as kind of the lead generation process itself. So what they can do is you can kind of capture where they are. So if they're open in process 1, lost, qualified out, so you have that initial call with them, so they're in process. From that initial call, we still don't know whether they want to go with us or not, so we still leave it in that. We can then say, actually, we've won it or we lost that business or qualified out. Great way of monitoring kind of how well people are performing with the leads you're assigning them.
Okay, yeah, that's useful.
Where you've got select a user to assign the lead to, you can click on the drop down and select the person you want to assign it to. Obviously, it's you two just using it at the moment, but at a later date, when you might want to roll this out to your salespeople, you've got those people there to assign it to.
Okay.
If you did want to start to assign it to somebody and you get a newbie in the company, what you probably want to do is monitor how good their conversion is and how comfortable they are on the phone. So when the company comes onto your website or something like that, you can CC in the all admin users. So that means that watch will be sent to the admin users as well as the salesperson, and that means a day later you might go, hi Will, how did you get on calling them, and so on and so forth, what's the update? You know, just that extra kind of monitoring point. And you can also get your sales team to add a note to say, called them, arranging a meeting or whatever it might be on the 27th of February. Yeah, so you can see how you can kind of use that to monitor that.
Yeah.
So you asked a very good question there. How are these chilies all worked out? So inside of GatorLeads, if you go to admin, and page scores, what you've got is you've got a list of all your different websites. I can quite happily do this for you. Is I can go through and I can page score your website to how we kind of do it best practice. And that obviously each one of those pages will then have a score, and that will then accumulate what chili rating they're at. So what you probably got. Sorry, I'll let you speak.
No.
So what I was going to say is, so it may be worth holding back on that exercise because I knew when I was speaking to James, he knows we've got a new website going live in
fantastic.
3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So before that website goes live, would it be possible for me to get access to kind of like I don't know what to call it, like the testing stage? Because what I will do is I'll make my life easier. Because what you don't want to do is every time you create a new page on your website, go in here and manually update the score. So what you can do is you've got an option here called new page filters. So what I can do is say that if you have a URL that says blog, I can then automatically give that a score and put it into a category inside of GatorLeads.
Okay. So that I can probably give you the sitemap. Would that help you to do it then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can give you access. To be honest, I can put you in contact with. If you give me the email, I can put you in contact with the account manager that's managing our web build, and they can send you what you need.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Brilliant. I'll send you an email just reminding you after.
Right.
Thank you so much for that, because that will help big time.
Yeah.
Great.
And plus what I will then do is when your new website goes live, as I'm not going to cover this in any detail at the moment because it's going to go in one ear and out the other, but I'll do a quick overview on it. But what you'll start to do is when that new website goes live, I'm going to create something called a site label, so it ignores any of the other pages, so you're only focusing on the pages that are on that new website.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then as soon as that website goes live, so if you told me it went live on the 1st of March at midnight, I would then set that at 1st of March at midnight. Now I'll pick up all your pages just from that page and anything is
the new page, yeah. Fine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that is kind of how your leads are all worked out. So it's all based on the pages that are visiting. But if
for example, if we went to send us your vacancy page, that would have a high score, I would presume.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Versus.
So
searching
reading
jobs
a news
page.
article.
Yeah.
So if I go on and click on, if we're going back to the My Leads tab, if I go to click on the Royal Air Force, what it does is it tells me their total score, which is a score they've accumulated since kind of the beginning of time, and their date score, so the score they've accumulated in that date range that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Also tells you how many pages they visited as well. So at the moment, that is normal because every one of your pages is going to have a score of 1. So they've visited 35 pages. That effectively tells us. Over on the right-hand side, you can view their different sessions. So you can see that on the 19th of the 1st, that was the first time we recorded them coming onto your website where they visited 12 pages. So if I click on that one, that's then going to show me the 12 pages they visited on that particular date. On the right-hand side, it tells me the top 10 pages they visited overall. This is quite interesting, and this tells me, this automatically is an indicator whether they're a hot lead to me or not. If in the top 10 pages, the home page is not the key page, then that tells me that they're trying to do something on your website. So you can see here, you are now registered. So they've registered some show. So that would, to me, it'd be an indicator that they're obviously hot, that they're interested in your site. This information again is all downloadable by clicking on these icons here. So you can download the last 60 or download all page visits. Over on the next tab, the campaigns and keywords. When you send out a campaign from Communicator, from Communicator, the campaign name will appear here. Alternatively, how this is all worked out is by something called UTM values. So very simple. So we can see that the Royal Air Force came from a campaign called Indeed. Does anybody know what that campaign might have been?
Yeah, that's a job aggregator. So it's come via probably a job they've seen on us on Indeed.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is great because now you can identify how well kind of Indeed's doing for you and all of that. So it tells you the campaign name, the medium, so it came organically, but this is all set. This will all be set by you guys or the agency or whoever, or the recruitment agent that it kind of used for this. And then on the right-hand side, it tells you how many visits they've got and the last visit date from that particular campaign. So the last visit date was today from that campaign. Below that, you've got something called keywords, and unfortunately, Google do not provide you with the keywords. However, Bing, Yahoo, and MSN and the other search engines do. I don't know why Google don't do it, but my guess to why Google don't give you the keywords is because they want you to pay for pay-per-click.
Right, yeah, so that's basically showing us, if it came from another search engine, it will show us what terms they use to find us. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And then the referrers, as you can see, it's Google there. It just tells you how they got to your website. So obviously Indeed would appear there because they came from that campaign, and then Google from the search engine, because that makes sense because it hasn't provided you with the keywords.
How far, so that's done that automatically, that, hasn't it? So if they came from LinkedIn, for example, if I wrote an article on LinkedIn,
LinkedIn would
appear.
Yes, but what you need to make sure is if you're writing an article in LinkedIn, you apply UTM values to that URL.
Okay. So and I do that in the mail bit.
No. All you need to do is type in UTM Builder online.
Okay.
And if you type in UTM Builder, you can use absolutely any tool on the website that you want. So you could use a Communicator one, or I could use the Raven tools. And then all I do is I enter in the URL, enter in the campaign source. So I might say the campaign source for this might be a LinkedIn newsletter. The campaign medium would be LinkedIn, and the campaign name would be whatever the article name is. And it's entirely up to you whether you want to do a campaign term or content. They're both optional, but obviously give you that extra analysis on where they came from. More used for kind of PPC campaigns more than anything.
Right.
From entering in that information there, you'll then get your URL. You would then copy your URL and then paste that on kind of that redirect. So when they click on that link, the URL would still be the same, but it have something called a query string on the end of it, which will have those UTM values applied to the end of it, which then means inside of GatorLeads you'll be able to see that it came from LinkedIn.
So where would I actually put that URL then? So if I posted an article to LinkedIn, I go through that process. Where do I put that?
So for example, let me just quickly show you. If I just quickly jump to LinkedIn quickly. If I just look at some of my posts, so for example, if I look at this, this social media post here, if I click on this link, this has taken me to the Communicator website, but if I click on this link, you'll see that at the end of it, it's just got this question mark UTM.
Right.
So I would then just paste this whole URL inside of LinkedIn, which would then obviously create your normal thumbnail and everything like that.
I'm just not sure. So if we were to just create that post now, so I've just created that 3 tactics to be successful media strategy in 2017. So I create that. At what point then do I put the UTM stuff in?
Or how?
Or how? Yeah.
So if we post it, let's say we put that article onto our website, yeah?
Yeah.
Which has got, and obviously that's got a
Yeah,
URL anyway. So that's
absolutely. So that URL wouldn't change.
yeah.
Right. But when you go to when you then take that URL, don't you, and then you paste that into LinkedIn.
Got you. Okay, so you post
Before you paste it,
you're right. You post the altered URL.
Right.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
absolutely, and that will still do exactly the same thing. So you're not altering the URL in any way. You're just adding a query string.
Adding to it rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's useful, that isn't it? Right.
Absolutely.
Does that work with? I'm assuming that's only going to work when you're referring it back to a page on the website, isn't it? So you've got to refer it back to so you can just do it for a status update or anything like that. It's got to go back to a hard page.
Absolutely, it's got to go back to a page on your website. Absolutely.
Fine, got you.
Do it all the time.
And then that will then. Yeah, and then what that will do is you'll then see when you open up these companies, you'll then see more and more campaigns appearing here.
Yeah.
Then on the company people and profile, that's where we went to when we clicked on get email address. It takes you to this page here. It gives you an overview of what the company does, the employee size, the total score, date score, and then also what you've then got is the ability to purchase the email addresses if we've got that data in the system.
Okay. And then, for example, let's say, can you manage the lead from that point? So I've got that. I've contacted Nick Bunting. He's come back to me and said, yeah, we're interested. You know when he showed me the progression of that lead? One dismissed, for example, in progress.
Yep, yep.
Can you set that up in this area, or?
Can you set that up in this area? Unfortunately not. You would need to click on the back button there and then go through and click on the assign lead option there.
So that's the only place. So on any, and if, let's say the RAF is in progress.
Yeah.
So let's say it's in progress at the moment, but then we go to dismissed. How would you then how would you do that? Would you have to re-click back into the assign lead box, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, everything is done through that kind of main my lead.
And that just saves it. So if you clicked in that, for example, if we do it now, just live RAF now, and then it's so it's one.
Just click on save changes.
Right. Okay. And then if you go in there, you'll see where it is.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Fine. And is there a way to
monitor how many won and stuff like that?
Yeah, and so for example, so Will be doing quite a lot of this, and I'll be sort of monitoring what Will's up to. So is there a way of us setting that up now to notify me when a lead comes in, and then notify me as they change status?
Yes, you can create an alert based on that, and I'll show you that slightly later on.
Okay, fine.
So under the admin tab, what you've then got is I'm not going to go over the page admin because obviously we've gone over those elements on, and we'll do the page scoring for you.
Yes, we'll do that in a few weeks. Yeah,
absolutely.
It seems a bit pointless at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. What you've got under system admin is you've got a few options here. You can upload companies. What an upload companies does is say for example you got your database, you've got a list of all your customers. You might want to import them into GatorLeads. So they all appear under the customer tab. However, the data that you're importing to GatorLeads will not automatically appear inside of the customer tab. It will only appear in the customer tab the next time they visit your website. It will be segmented into that tab. Or if they've already been on your website, they will automatically be put on that customer tab, so you're not having to do it for an individual basis.
With that, if you uploaded customer and contacts,
yep.
Would you be able to track if a customer contact lands?
You haven't, okay. Unfortunately, it's not able to go contact deep. It's only allowed to go company deep. But what on the company as well, when you do that upload, it needs to have their company domain in it on the upload, which I always thought was hard to get, but it's really not. You just take the contact that you've got there, strip back anything before the @ sign, and there you've got the domain there, and that can be uploaded.
Okay, fine.
You've also got lead types, and what the lead types are is...
Sorry, just on that. So for example, if we finish this session now, I'll download all of our customers, upload them, and then they will only be triggered, if I'm correct, then if when someone from that customer comes on.
Absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, it would only be put into that tab when that customer comes on. Unless they've already been on your website, that customer, then it will automatically be put into that customer tab.
Yeah, okay, but it's unlikely at the moment because obviously we've only been monitoring for a few weeks. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then what you've then got is, you remember we've got these customers, competitors, tabs and everything like that. What we do in GatorLeads is we give you the ability to add a free additional kind of tabs that you can use. So where you got custom 1, you can add in what you want to call that. Same for custom 2 and custom 3. Over on the right-hand side, you just need to remember, and this is a common thing that I see people do, is that they set this information up and they go, James, why is it not appearing? It's because it's set as hide at the moment. So you just need to switch the switch to tell it to be show, to switch it to show, and then that allows that to appear on the My Leads tab. So let's just quickly do that so you can see. So switch that to custom 1, My Leads. We should now at the top. I'll refresh the screen. It's probably not going to do it because it's custom 1, but you'll then have custom 1 there.
Sorry, can you just go through that bit again for me?
Absolutely. So if I go to admin, system admin, lead types.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, there we go. I'm just going to call it QU just for the example. There's no idea why. If I then hit the save button, and then I go to My Leads, we'll now see that I've got an extra tab called QU. Yeah. So the purpose of this is that what we found was not a lot of our clients couldn't put them in contact, competitor, customer, partner, supplier qualified out. There was an extra tab that they needed to kind of qualify it. So in our case, we've got GatorLeads customers and we've got GatorMail customers. So what we wanted to do was create one tab for GatorLeads, one tab for GatorMail, and then put them in the different tabs. So then that allows the kind of account manager.
Okay, so it allows you to maybe just change that slightly.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to save that so it doesn't appear there for you. So what you've then got under system admin, you've got sales territories. It doesn't sound like you're going to use this, but let me quickly explain about it, what it is. If you've got sales territories, what you can do is you can put in the territories in GatorLeads. That means that will then assign the sales territory to the sales owner automatically for you.
Right, okay. Yeah. And how does that go down to just national or
geographic county? Well, it goes down on postcode. It's all postal regions. Yeah.
So yeah, if I had a BD team, well, we're looking at a BD team just looking after Bristol, with someone going to do Bristol, someone going to do Warrington, whatever it might be.
Absolutely. Right. And you've then got an option here called hidden leads. So if you've marked any of your leads as hidden, so what that means in theory is you've marked yourself as self, which takes you out of the reports. You can click on hidden leads to view this information here. So at the moment there are no people marked as self. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What you probably want, yeah, fantastic. Admin, and then under admin, and you've got ignore countries. So for example, you ignore anybody in the United Kingdom because your target market wasn't the UK. You can click on ignore countries, which means anything on the UK would not appear on your My Leads tab.
Okay.
So any questions in regards to the admin at all?
No, I don't think so.
No, I suppose the only bit is, so just talking about the wider context. So if we started wanting to do a nurture campaign, of the clients that are hitting this desk or hitting that. So client comes in, how do we move that into a nurture campaign by getting contact and moving that through?
Absolutely. So what I'll do is I'm actually just going to log out of your account quickly and show you my account just because I've got a bit more data in it to work with. So if I go to My Leads, you'll notice that this is us currently. So we can see the Prince's Food have been on our website, and we've got Claire Graham as being a cookie contact. Yeah. So if I go and click on Prince,
she's read one of your things basically, and that's
yeah, absolutely. She's interacted with one of our emails. So I click on Prince's Food. I've then got an extra tab here called e-marketing contacts. If I click on e-marketing contacts, I can then view all of our cookie contacts for that individual company. So I know that Andrew Morgan from here has been on these particular web pages and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So he's been on the workflow web page. So what I might want to do is I might want to send them down the workflow funnel. So if I click on the nurture button here, which looks like a paper aeroplane, I can then click on the drop down and then select the group that I want to add them to inside of Communicator. So to add them into the workflow, that workflow group will be attached to a workflow or a single campaign, and then they then receive more information about that. So that's how you then send them down that nurture track itself.
Okay.
So that's how to do it manually. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to show you how you can do it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah? So if I, sorry about this, jump in between the two different sites. I'm just going to go back on your one here. So if I jump to the alerts tab, what I can do is I can create a new alert, and I'm just going to call this one training. You can select how frequent the alerts ran, so I want that to run hourly, every 1 hour, 2 minutes past. If I then click on enable, that's going to enable that alert. That's all great, but what we haven't done is set any rules around this alert. If I click on the next button or go to the rules tab, I can then go to page visits. On the page visits, I can click on and go to page URL. So this is anybody that's hit the workflow web page on our website, or suppose.
So if I put the employers send us your vacancies page, yeah.
Absolutely. You would enter in that URL there.
Yeah.
And then you can then say, right, I only wanted to look at the lead status. I always get this one wrong. No, I only want to look at the lead type, of contacts. So I'm just going to say include contacts there, and then ignore all the other tabs because they're all irrelevant, because we can't send them anything in Communicator because we don't have that cookie contact. Does that make sense?
Okay, so basically what this is doing, just so I can take a step back, so automatic. So if someone visits our site that we already they've already interacted with one of our emails, so we know who they are.
Yep.
And it's the first time that they visit the site, or it doesn't matter, it's any time.
It doesn't matter, any time. Any time they visit that site and visit that particular web page.
Then it's going to alert us that that person's hit the site.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's going to add them into a group inside of GatorLeads. So what you've got here is on the alerts tab, you can do it by page visits, so they hit a certain URL. Or what I'll do for you is I'm going to create categories for you. So what a category will do is I'll include multiple pages about that one area. So if they hit one of those pages, they will meet that criteria and be sent that campaign. Because you don't want to make it specific around that one URL. Obviously, it's going to be very hard, unless you're driving an awful lot of traffic to that one URL. It's going to be hard to kind of get anything off the back of that.
Okay.
What you can then do is you can then filter by a campaign. So if they must have been sent a campaign from Communicator, you can go on and you can select the campaign by clicking Display Campaigns. So they must have hit the Indeed campaign, so I can select Indeed. So they must have hit that web page and been sent the Indeed campaign. Yeah?
Okay.
Obviously,
so if I set for example, now I set a customer contact email out that we haven't contacted for 6 months. I've classed that as a customer contact email that we haven't contacted for 6 months. They've clicked on that and they've come to the site. I'll be able to say that that's specifically that campaign.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So specific. So I only want the alert to be triggered for the people that have gone to that web page and have visited that campaign at one period of time.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And obviously you can do that for sources and mediums. So what this is going back to your UTM value. So I might say they must have come from the medium of email, organic, whatever it might well be. And you've got the lead type, where it can be include contacts, only look at leads, don't worry about competitors, customers and all that, because we want to qualify those guys out already and we don't want to get them to receive any campaigns. We can then go by lead status, where we can say, hang on, anybody with the lead status of open we want to target, but we don't want to target with anybody that we've won, lost or qualified out, because we've qualified them out or lost them for a particular reason.
Yep, got you.
And then you can then do lead bands to say, right, I only want to target hot, cold, or so whatever figure they are on your website.
And that's done by the scores?
Absolutely, that's done by the page scores that are on your website. So if we then jump to the next tab, we've got something called Alert Actions. Under Alert Actions, what we can do is we can say, right, I want to email so-and-so. So I want, Andrew, I want to send an email to you to say these are the people that have triggered this alert. So I'd enter in your email address there and click on Add Email Address. What I'll then do is I'll go to the Gator Integration tab, click on the drop-down, and then select my group that I want to push them into inside of Communicator, which will then be attached to kind of that lead nurture journey. So, for example, hot leads, they receive a campaign about all the jobs that you have to kind of offer, let's pretend.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how you can get that automated journey all working for you.
So,
yep.
Just thinking, so with that we could, so we could use that to trigger sending potentially job alerts to candidates as well, couldn't we? Effectively, so if they're visiting our systems page.
Job alerts. Sorry, I'm trying to go over that in my head. So job alerts to candidates. Yeah, in theory, yes, but it'll be harder because obviously those people you're going to be able to cookie that individual contact. However, the problem that you're going to kind of have is that it's going to probably be their personal email address.
Not their work.
So,
yeah, got you.
Absolutely. So you haven't got that kind of journey because we won't monitor them next time they're on their website.
So what?
If they were to hit it from a campaign, you would be able to contact them straight away. But you know, which I suppose does make sense. I mean, if you're interested in a job, you're not going to click on the link in the email, then go, oh, let's go back to your website. You're probably going to complete that transition or transaction through that one kind of login.
So with warm, lead, so I'm just thinking, if we went out and bought the data list, yeah, of new clients, so we're talking about just new client acquisition here initially, yeah, and we send an introduction email to that client, don't we, via the communicator. Yeah. They'll click on that. We'll then know who they are, or we'll know who they are when they hit the site. The site will then pick that person up and tell me that person's looked at XYZ pages and is now pretty hot.
Yes.
You can then automatically put him into a new group where he receives a new email.
Absolutely. That's what this alert's doing for you.
So can you point the email to them automatically, or is that a manual tool afterwards?
No, so this group will be attached to that campaign and email already. So it's something you would set up already, and then when people start to flow through, they'll just get sent that campaign.
So when we do the communicator training day, they'll teach you how to do that. Yeah.
They will teach you how to build your kind of email communications and set them all up, yes, which will then you can then draw the conclusion together.
So effectively you do an introduction email, then if they do hit X, Y, and Z, they're going to get another email, something else, and another email, depending on where they go and what they do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fine.
Very good.
Got it.
So that's the alert section. In reporting, I'm going to. Do you guys use Google Analytics at the moment?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm going to tell you to carry on using Google Analytics because Google Analytics reporting is going to be a hell of a lot better than GatorLeads, Lead Forensics, any website tracking tool, because that's showing you all your website activity. What GatorLeads and Lead Forensics are doing, it's just showing you the companies obviously we've been able to identify.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you how and again, I apologize if this is not enough detail, but I'm going to show you how I use the reporting facility in GatorLeads.
Okay.
If I go to, what I do is I go to reporting insights on a monthly basis. When I go here, in fact, I'm just going to jump into my account, just again so I can see a bit more data, if that's okay. So,
sure.
My leads. So I go to reporting and insights. So in reporting and insights, what I want to do is I want to kind of figure out the companies that are on our website and from what particular medium. So on the insights, we can set our date range up here to look at the particular date period that we want to look at. Tells you how many website visitors you've had over that date range. Remember, these are only the visitors we've been able to pick up. As you expect, it drops off on the weekends, kind of.
Yeah.
Below that, what we're going to do, or what I want you guys to do, is segment the leads that are coming onto your website into competitors, customers, partners, suppliers, and so on and so forth. And by doing that, you can then view the leads that are coming to your website, what category they fit under. Below that, you can then go down and say, right, so I've gone and brought Communicator. I want to know how well it's doing. So below that, I can then view this thing called traffic medium. A traffic medium tells you the source that have come through on your website, which is applied through those UTM values. So I want to see email. So I click on email. When I click on email, what it's going to do, it's going to tell me all of the individual companies that have come in through email. Yeah? So that I can see, right, converted, haven't converted, converted, haven't converted, so on and so forth. You can go through that in your kind of mind. So on the right-hand side, the more interesting thing is, right, how come these companies are coming on our website when hospitality is, or no, let's use metals and mining, our target market. Why is metals and mining all the way down here and software is up the top? So you can start to qualify out kind of to make sure you are targeting those the right industry. And again, you can go into countries and so on and so forth. So let's say my target market was software and everything else I didn't particularly care about. So if I click on software, it's going to drill down those companies as well, even further. So now I'm going to view all of the companies that clicked on an email that were in the software industry. And these icons on the left-hand side probably mean nothing to you at the moment, but when you come in to use the platform, they will make a lot more sense. So what you've got here is this is Marcus Self, these are our customers, these are our partners, these are our, and you can then start to see kind of what these guys are by the symbol.
Okay, so yeah, so clients, customers, right, fine, got it.
And if you click on the I button, it takes you to a permalink where you can view what interaction that particular company has had on your website, and you can look at the e-marketing contacts directly. So
but from that very nature, you could also, so if you see they're all software companies, you can send them a software-related email.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's nothing stopping you doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you can start to drill out down by clicking on United Kingdom and so on and so forth. That's how I really do make the most out of this reporting. But what I also like to do as well is, again, what I hope you guys will go off and do off the back of today is anything that you do digitally, any digital communications that you kind of do, that you're sending people to your website, you apply those UTM values to it, because then what I want to do is, okay, we've now looked at medium. I want to look at the campaign. So every 3 months I might look and see what campaigns perform the best. So I might look at email and say, right, tell me what email's done the best. So the email that's done the best in this date range is the Intrigue Week 7 lead gen campaign.
I'm presuming if you're using Communicator, that does it automatically, doesn't it? You don't need to go and do that yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It's only when you're putting stuff on yourself onto the website and
absolutely. Absolutely. But what you can do here is, because we're looking at email and this is Gator Mail, I can say there are 317 companies identified. But, I might not be somebody that logs into Gator Mail. It might not be my responsibility. I might solely be here for GatorLeads. So I can click on the View Graph button, which gives me the overall campaign statistics for that campaign. Yeah. So I'm not having to log into Gator Mail to find that.
Okay.
Any questions about the Insights tab that I've gone on?
No, I don't think
so.
Fantastic. So the next tab I'm going to go to is I'm going to go to Reporting and Reports, and I've got the ability to run a manual report. What a manual report is it just emails you some statistics that you decide that you want to receive. So you can select from the following reports below. You can also include them all in that one email address. And all I do is set the date range that I want to look for that criteria from, and then click on Email Report.
Okay.
Under Reporting, you've got PPC reports. You run any PPC campaigns?
Don't currently. Well, actually, that's a lie. We do.
No, we
do.
Yeah,
Facebook.
we do. Facebook, yeah.
So hopefully on your PPC campaigns, what you've got is they've got UTM values applied to them. From that, so you can see here, I can see what they are. So from this, you can see that CM Print Ltd came from a PPC campaign. The page, this is for us, but they can see that they came from this URL here, which was taken to the landing page. Thank you for the free trial. The source was Google. The term that was used was business leads, and the campaign was global PPC.
So we need to make sure that Liz is using this UTM builder for our PPC now.
Absolutely. It's absolutely key that people are using it.
And did you say you've got your own one there? Okay, you've got one online that we can use, or just use anyone?
Absolutely, yeah, or you can use anyone. If you just type in UTM Builder, or if you type in Communicator UTM Builder, you'll get that there. What I'll do as well, Andrew, is at the end I'll send you a video on how to do it for your PPC campaigns, because I believe that there's some settings that you need to change inside of Google itself for this information to pass through. So I'll send you that.
Right,
so,
okay, great, that'll be useful.
The marketing can make the update. So what you've also got under reporting is you've also got the ability to look at the companies. All that is a list of the companies that have been on your website. And the same for contacts. That's just a list of all the contacts that have been on your website.
Yep.
You've also got some quick statistics that you can look at, and what the quick statistics do. And this is kind of how you get a lot of this information, is you can just find out how many, where they're coming through onto your website and where they've come from. So it's just a good way of finding that information out. Under the companies and contacts, so as you can see, it just tells you the last visit date, the amount of pages viewed, where they came from, and whether they bounced or not. So I can never remember. So under companies, what you might want to do is you might want to search for anybody that has a score as a particular has a particular score. So you might want to see
So what
anybody
tab?
that
What
has
tab? Are we still in reporting now? Are we?
Absolutely.
So I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see how you got there.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
So what I did was I went to reporting, reports, and then companies.
Right, companies.
You can also go on the left-hand side to go there as well.
On the left,
sure.
So on what I can do here is you were saying to me, James, you were saying to me earlier, how can I find out how many people we've got lost in process and so on and so forth? And this is where you find that under reporting in companies. You can then say, right, I want to see how many people we've got in process that were assigned to, that were assigned to, let's say, one of our salespeople called Josh.
Yep.
So I'd click on Josh, get the companies, and then that would tell me how well that individual's performing.
Okay.
That's what we have kind of weekly meetings. It'd be good to go to those meetings on a Monday afternoon and go through that previous week's list
Absolutely.
and where we're at with everything, so we can kind of put that together, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm honest with you, with our sales team that we got here at Communicate, it's a great way of motivating the team as well. Because
yeah,
those
but it'll just be me, me and Andy really, who are the sales team essentially, in terms of new companies. So we could definitely do with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So all you need to do to make sure to use this effectively is marking people out. And also, where you got assigned to, you just need to make sure that obviously all of your companies are assigned.
Yep.
Under reporting, you got site analytics. If I'm honest with you guys, I don't know why this is in here. This is Google Analytics all over. So I'm not going to touch on this if I'm honest with you.
Yep.
Last tab that we're going to focus on today is Tools and PEL. So PEL stands for a personalized URL. And what it is, it's another method of cooking a contact. So let's say, for example, we can see that, we've just run through a data list, and you've spoken to myself. I seem relatively interested in you in your recruitment. So what you want to do is you want to send me and I've asked to receive like your pricing or whatever it might well be. So I want to send you an email with a link in it. So if I go to Tools, PEL, and Create, I can then include a URL in here, so the URL that I want to redirect them to, which must be a page on your website.
Yep.
I enter in the email address of where this where you're going to send this email to. I enter in a campaign name for my UTM values. I click Create PEL. When I click on Create PEL, that'll give me a unique URL that I then put in that email, and when that individual clicks on it, it will cookie that individual, and you'll be able to view that individual's behavior on your website.
So that's if we're picking up someone off a phone, yeah, they've just given us their email or whatever it might be, and then we're just following it up.
Absolutely,
Okay.
You're just following it up for an email with a link in it, and with that link in it, it's just another way of cooking that contact. But the advantage of this is where you've got alert when used. When somebody clicks on that, you can add an alert, so you're notified that that individual's clicked on that link.
Just out of interest.
Just
on that. So currently, a lot of the contact emails that we're initially making at the moment are via LinkedIn.
Okay.
We can use Profit to identify their email address, and where it's an email address, could we then, instead of using LinkedIn to contact that person or Profit, which we're doing normally, could we then contact that person via this method?
Yep.
So you
can you create content? Can you create email content in there, or is it just a redirect?
It's just a URL. That's all you're doing. You don't create your email here. So you would still create your, like what I would do if that was me, I'd take the email address, I'd paste it in here, and then use Outlook to send the email out to that individual contact.
Got you. So it still doesn't matter, right? So you can still send the email. You just put the link in that email. Got you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then what you're doing there is, like I said, you're just cooking that individual. So when they click on that, you know who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next time they visit your website, you've got that information there.
We're essentially trying to cookie every single person who we're trying to get on with. That's the main aim, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what you want to get to is like ours, where everything's got an email address.
Yeah.
But then it makes your sales life a lot easier.
When you put them into the GDPR circle,
when do we put them into the GDPR circle?
Yeah.
I honestly could not. I could not tell you. I just know that the way that our sales team are currently operating in regards to the telesales guys,
Yeah.
is that they'll have a conversation with somebody, and I mean, apologies if you kind of got signed up through this way, but then we tell them, we try and kind of educate them on the GDPR. They still sound interested. We'll then send them down that kind of nurture campaign process.
Right. So then they'll just follow that up with the nurture. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's good. Fine. Yeah.
So that is honestly GatorLeads for you guys. Like I said, I'll send you an email, just asking for you to kind of create me access so I can kind of view stuff on the website and stuff like the new website, so I can get the page all sorted. And then what I just need you, and then I'll send over a copy of the recording later on this day.
Great, that's brilliant. Because we'll have to embed the code in the new website as well, won't we?
Absolutely, you will need to embed the code in your new website.
Yeah, fine.
Fantastic.
No, okay, that's good.
Brilliant. So does anybody else have any questions or anything at all?
No, really. It's just that last reporting bit that I had written down, but no. We just need to have a look. I've never heard of or seen this UTM builder before, so I'm just going to have a little look through there and see what.
Yeah, have a little look, and if I'm honest with you, what I might also, I mean, I know nobody likes doing any homework or kind of extra reading, but I do recommend that you do look online and just type in like what UTM values are. There's some really great short articles out there that explain it within kind of 2 minutes of reading.
Good.
Fine. No, that's good.
Brilliant.
Spot on.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you very much. Cheers.
No worries. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Bye. Bye.